Hello, welcome to the 30th episode of my podcast, Open Conversation. I'm your host, Young Bella Sabetwo, and today going to be talking about pretty much an assortment of different uh, topics that I want to talk about, and then obviously, as you can see, the the layout of everything is a little bit different. Obviously, you got the background, you know what I'm saying, with the lighting and stuff. So I just wanted to try some try something a little different. Just go around, see how it turns out. But so yeah, first, um, our top 10 favorite NBA players of all time. Um, this topic was requested um, from somebody who wanted to know some of it's my favorite players of all time. So I created a list of my favorite my favorite players of all time, and no specific order on this. Just a list of my top 10 favorite guys. So we're gonna start off with Allen Iverson. The answer, um, yeah, just and when I my favorite this the criteria for this list is is based off of skill set, style of play, and then the persona. Um, and so, like I said, Allen Iverson, um, just his relentlessness on the court, just kind of like you know he was kind of like the first person with that kind of like uh, what's this fall down 8 times, get up nine. Like he was always a player that was like would get to the rim or attack the rim. Even you know the centers would foul him, and he would go through all kinds of he put his body on the line every time he would get to the rim, and he would usually finish, but he would take a lot of hard hits getting to the rim, and just his obviously the handles and the creativity that he had, dribbling the ball, and his just his swag, man. That's probably you know the one thing I think you know people like myself and many others who are fans of Allen Iverson um, appreciate the most of him is just his swagger, how he his persona, how he carried himself, how he dressed, um, just his ability to just be who he was in a time where it wasn't quote unquote cool, or wasn't accepted, so to speak, for you know by league standards, so to speak. But you know, people over time kind of like um, gravitated toward his style and how he expressed himself. But just his relentlessness, ability to score, his style, his swagger on the court, just was very influential to me as a fan. So yeah, Allen Iverson, then Michael Jordan, uh, who's Allen Iverson's favorite player, but of all time. My favorite player of all time too. But Michael Jordan, just you know, just the iconic aspect of who he was, and uh, you know, same, his persona, how he carried himself, really just had like a killer instinct when he was playing. Uh, just his ability to just dunk on cats, his hops, uh, finish around the rim, uh, his scoring ability, just his efficiency, being able to um, score with very, very, very efficiently. You know what I'm saying? Didn't need too many dribbles to score the basketball. Um, and I think you know his footwork. We have one of the best footworks in terms of how he plays, especially in the post, mid range. He beat a lot of guys with just having great footwork. Um, and just again the brand, the Jordan Air Jordan shoes. To this day, I'm big fan of the retro Jordans. Um, to be specific, 1 to 14, uh, and yeah, just his will to win. His will to win was probably my one aspect I really appreciated from Jordan. Just his aspect of just willing himself to victory, regardless of the scenario. So yeah, Michael Jordan, then Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. Um, Very similar to Michael Jordan, just with the killer instinct, uh, super extreme work ethic. Um, just his work ethic was just one of the, it's probably the one thing that when most people talk about Kobe, just how much he worked hard at his craft and put the time in to get better and improve his game. Um, Very similar to Michael Jordan, and having the great footwork, uh, can score anywhere. He bit. Um, I'll say he was a better 3-point shooter than Jordan. Um, but yeah, like his whole uh, Mamba mentality, just getting after it, like you know, only accepting greatness and the best. You know what I'm saying? Just something I can, in my personal opinion, can relate to. Obviously, uh, the brand, his persona, all of that. Like I said, plays factor. Um, so yeah, Kobe Bryant, and then also got to go LeBron James. Um, you know, just class act. Just been a great example on and off the court. Um, it's almost like as great as he is on the court, it very much so translates off the court. He's a guy that been playing 21 years, really has never had any like off the court issues or any type of situation. Not to say that if you're guy player, you had some kind of situation that you're just bad, whatever. But just considering the fact, 21 years, never had any having any real off the court issues or anything. Um, just kind of shows, you know, I'm somebody who's definitely learned, in my time playing basketball, like, your off the court things does translate on the court. And so you can just see the greatness in that aspect. His durability, uh, is obviously a major thing. Only had about maybe like really one major injury, maybe two type thing. The work ethic, I think it was Kevin Love. I believe he had mentioned. I think the thing that he had said that was really separated LeBron from, most guys was the fact that he could, you know, put in all this work and then just repeat it the next day, same thing, do the same cycle, the next day, same thing, same thing, same thing, same thing. Just that work ethic. Um, you know what I'm saying? It definitely something that me personally I can definitely relate to, connect to. Um, and then obviously just his style of play. To me, the between him and Magic, best passes of all time. Basketball IQ, probably the greatest um, basketball IQ of all time. Um, just to stop the dunking and all of that type stuff, the leadership, just being a guy that, um, if respects, treats all the guys around him well. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like having handshakes with all the players on the team. Not a guy who, as great as he is, always been the best player for the most part his whole career. Never been like a diva type guy who's like gonna treat, I guess, the last man on the bench bad because he's, not playing. You got people like that who always try to like, you know, disrespect or downplay or just like devalue, guys who may have quote unquote lesser roles on the team. He kind of treats everybody well. I think that's a major thing for me, and that's something I really really like a lot like about LeBron in that aspect because you know being as great as he is, he doesn't necessarily have to always be more. Most cases they try to say like if you're the star player, you don't have to. You can just act like you're just better than everybody, and you don't. Um, he doesn't act like that, so I think that's major for me. And just yeah, man, just overall, just major fan. Uh, LeBron, and then next I gotta go Kyrie. Um, yeah, just his old what you want his bag, just his bag of tricks and how he dribbles and uh, you know finishing around the rim like just always been a major fan. It's always exciting to see Kyrie play basketball. Um, a guy that, in my opinion, is always kind of quote unquote misunderstood. Just I think very similar to me in the way he's a very thought provoking, uh, you know, kind of guy. Just may have viewpoints that just may be just different from most, so to speak. Um, and definitely can relate to that in a lot of ways. But uh, I just think that he's a he not net. I don't I don't know him on a personal level. It'd be cool too, but um, it'd be I just think he comes off like a good dude, so to speak. Like he doesn't, you know what I'm saying? To me, I think he comes off like a good dude and somebody who is a caring dude. A guy that contributes to the community and his community and people all around the world. Seen many times he's donated and done stuff for the community. And I think it doesn't get credit because some kind of little thing that people the media always likes to uh, try to create certain perceptions about you or that to make you look bad or whatever type of things. So, I think that, I gotta, for me, I'm gonna acknowledge that. Um, and yeah, man, just his competitive nature. He goes out there, he competes at a high level, not afraid of the moment. You know, he's willing to take that big shot when need be. And so, to me, that's a great thing. Then next, I gotta go Kevin Durant. Um, just a big fan of his game, his whole career. Uh, you know, dating back to, I was aware he went to Montrose Christian, which is a school in Rockville, and that's when I became aware of who he was. And then obviously he went to Texas and probably had the debatably the greatest greatest season for a college player ever. Just destroyed, but just seeing his evolution going to Oklahoma City, really Seattle Supersonics for 1 year, then translate to Oklahoma City, and then going to the Warriors and Brooklyn, and now he's at Phoenix. Seeing his evolution as a player has been fun to watch for me. Uh, he's another guy who has a great footwork. Um, can score anywhere on the on the court. Um, really no stopping KD. And when it comes to scoring the basketball, and just seeing he's a guy that really loves the game of basketball, similar to myself, and I definitely can connect and relate to that because I'm somebody who just loves the game of basketball, like just loves the game of basketball. So I definitely relate to that. So yeah, KD. Then next I gotta go Dwayne Wade. uh, his ability to get to the rim, finish, his quickness, his style of play. Underrated handles in my opinion. Dwayne Wade is a guy who really had some dope handles. Um, a great team player, guy who was about the team, wanted to win, not a selfish player. Miami, he was able to uh, kind of do what was best for the team and allow LeBron to slowly develop into that leader that we all know and see today. He actually helped him into that role, but he knew that LeBron was the best player, and he knew that in order for them to win the championship, LeBron was going to have to be the guy that was going to pretty much lead them to the way, and so kind of see that D Wade was just like a very, very, very much so a team player. Um, I think you know I used growing up I just used to love watching him and Kobe go at it. Those battles was always good to me, and seeing how um, D Wade would he answered the bell, he answered the call when those battles came. With him and Kobe, D Wade used to do his thing. Um, and like his persona, his style, his skill set, great defensive player. So yeah, D Wade. Then I gotta go Russell Westbrook. Um, you know, another guy just that's relentless. He goes hard each and every play. Um, you know, the media wants to paint a narrative. He's like a selfish player. Far from it. He's a guy who's we've seen in the Lakers make some sacrifices. Now he's with the Clippers making some sacrifices. So you see that, Russell Westbrook is a team player. Um, Likes to get his guys involved. Um, I I don't agree with the stat chasing narrative that they try to throw at him. I think he's just a guy that just goes and plays hard, and the stats just come with it. Um, and so, big fan of Russell Westbrook. Hope he can win a championship before he ends his career. So yeah, Russ. Then Steph Curry, um, greatest 3-point shooter, greatest shooter of all time. Um, Skill set, just A1. A guy that, in my opinion, was a late bloomer, so to speak, and developed his way and, got better, proved a lot of naysayers wrong. Um, I definitely can just connect just his story and just his personality. A lot of people think just because, you're just like a relatively reserved, cool kind of guy that you're like soft or something, or you're like weak, and that's like the furthest thing from the truth, like, and so um he's definitely a super competitor, because I've seen him play and how he plays throughout his career. Definitely a super competitor when it's time to get in between the lines, but very, very, very good guy, you know family guy and all that. um and to me, seeing him still play at a high level at 35 years old is phenomenal. So yeah, Steph Curry. Then lastly, I gotta go with Dame Lillard. Um, Man, when we talk about as a guard, I don't think there's been a player with the total package in terms of his scoring ability than Dame Lillard. I think he for in terms of the total package, like his ability to score the basketball from his position at his height. I think he might be the greatest. Um, in terms of with the Trailblazers, uh, doing you know just being a very loyal guy to that franchise. Um, Likely to go down as probably the greatest player from that franchise, in my personal opinion. Um, his ability to get to the rim, you know, shoot the deep ball, uh, beat you off the dribble, um, dunk on you, all of that. Like it's just great. And then just his persona is just like very. I feel like we have a similar kind of personality, and just like laid back and chill type of guy. Doesn't really get into too much kind of like drama or stuff like that. Just you know handles his business. Obviously, he raps. He's he's a big hip hopper, very much so like me, and so I definitely can just relate to that. And he also is a guy who was a late bloomer, as so to speak, not highly touted, so to speak, coming out of college and even high school. Um, well, coming out of high school really, because coming out of college, he was the sixth pick in the draft. But coming out of high school, wasn't highly touted, and you know still worked on his game, developed his game, developed as a player. Didn't allow the politics and stuff like that to quote unquote keep him down, and so he overcame. So you know, I very much so can relate to that, and yeah, that just concludes my list of my personal favorite NBA top 10 players of all time. Cat Williams interview. So this has been probably one of the most controversial interviews in recent times. Uh, up probably since Kanye level. This probably gotten more traction than even Kanye's interviews of past times. But definitely very, very controversial. I'm a big fan of Cat Williams and his comedy. Always have been. Um, kind of came to the conclusion, like, even before I was like, Cat Williams is probably my favorite comedian of all time. Just like his stand-ups, because he really is funny. Like his stuff is funny. Like he really is funny. It's not even like when I watch like certain comedians, they say stuff and it's like they trying to be funny. Like Cat Williams is like he genuinely funny. It's funny as it. And I always been a fan of his stand-ups. But you know, I felt like this interview he had was art. And I do see I'm an artist. I see things from a creative perspective, but it was like he essentially had a stand-up in an interview. Like if you watch his stand-ups and how they go, he did that, but like in an interview format. Like he was just going on everybody. Like he was just going on everybody. He's going on everybody, and it was funny. It was funny, whether it was truth or lie. It was funny. Like genuinely, it was funny. Um, I think I don't know what was true, what was a lie. You know what I'm saying? That's not. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's funny to me how people would just be like, "Oh yeah, he was speaking facts. He was speaking facts." Like you don't. How do you know? And it's not to say that Cat Williams is lying, but you really don't know. You just want to believe that because maybe you have some kind of personal thing against some of the people that he has spoken about. So you just want to say it was facts. Um, I don't know what was facts because I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know these people personally. I don't, you know what I mean, have a personal relationship. I don't, so I'm not going to sit around here and be like, yo, he was just saying facts. And I'm not going to sit and say, oh, he was lying. Because I've seen people who have come out with like, oh, he was lying, or he was capping, or he was just saying this to be relevant. And, so I've heard both sides of the story, both sides of the coin, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, objectively, the way that, the it was formatted, the interview was great. Um, said a lot of funny things, said some real stuff. He said some very insightful stuff, things that you could definitely apply, like especially when he had spoke about uh, the way you should live your life. I definitely agree with him on that. Like taking each and every day like it's your last. Like, when you about to, go to sleep at night, like have that mindset like, yep, this could be it, but I did my all today, and I'm not promised tomorrow, but this is it. You know what I'm saying? And you just kind of take each and every day like it could be your last, and maybe like he said, you could have your big win one day. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that I actually, I apply that same kind of mindset. And hearing him say something, say that, it was very, 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 uh, I guess, and dope to hear somebody who kind of see things in a similar perspective as myself. Um, but I think Shannon did a pretty good job in the way that he conducted the interview. I've kind of heard some rumblings about how he didn't uh, do like it wasn't professional. I think he did well, especially considering that he was speaking with a comedian and there was a little bit of alcohol involved. Um, I think Shannon did a great job conducting the interview, asking some insightful questions, um, presenting a certain layout, and I think it was good. It was definitely one of the better interviews. I think it's probably definitely going to be one of the highlights of this year. Before the end of this year, we're always going to go back. The Cat Williams interview. Like, so yeah, that just want to give my little perspective on that. So this is some of my favorite podcasts as content creators. Yeah, I wanted to, it's give some just due to some of the guys out there who create content and do podcasts. People that I um, have watched and on my own personal time that I feel like have educated me or helped me in certain ways, informed me on things that I didn't know about, and I just wanted to share these people. Maybe y'all can go and y'all should. I would suggest y'all check these guys out because they're definitely informative people who have some good content stuff to talk about. So first, I was gonna go with 19 Keys. Um, the guy that I've been watching little over probably the past 2 years or so. Very, very informative brother. Um, black African American brother, has a lot of insight. Um, he has a dope, unique swagger about him. I like his swag. You know what I'm saying? It's never, how he does it with the hats and stuff like that. I think that's dope. Um, really like some of the principles he stands for, especially when it comes to the black community, certain his viewpoints and how some of the topics he's talking about, like conflict resolution, family type of things, and how we can evolve as a community. And you know he's spoken about a lot of dope things in my personal opinion, and stuff that doesn't get talked about like that. He's given that conversation, like you said, high level conversation about that usually is taboo to talk about. A lot of times people don't have the verbiage to even speak on these type of things, and he spoken about it. And I've learned a lot, like I said, from 19 Keys, and then Billy Carson. That's the guy. He's like a genius, man. he's like he's a genius. He knows stuff that I'm like, man, how the heck how do you fit all this in that head of yours? But yeah, Billy Carson, again, black guy, African American guy, has a lot of knowledge in terms of ancient history. Um, you're talking about the Anunnaki and Sumerian texts and emerald tablets and etc., etc. Like the the pyramids. He has a vast amount of knowledge. You know, manifesting and consciousness. And just learned a lot from Billy Carson. Uh, was first introduced to him by, there was an interview he did with Dame Dash. He was talking about the Emerald Tablets and Anunnaki and all of that stuff. And, it's very, very informative. He's a guy that I've learned a lot from. And then Dame Dash said this on past videos about just, Dame Dash and being a fan of him. Uh, still making dope content, talking about, independence and, how, evolving and growing and just, certain things, you know, not being a slave and, you know, in the system and in the matrix, whatever, how you want to call it. And just seeing him continue to evolve as an artist. He started out just doing the CEO and just seeing what he's done creatively. It's been dope. You know what I'm saying? Big fan of Dame. I'm always a Dame Dash fan. Anybody know I'm a big Dame Dash fan. Then Riva, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. She's a girl who has a lot of informative things to say, especially as a younger Black woman. I'm very happy to see somebody like her who's like saying some knowledgeable things and things that I myself too can, I guess, learn from, because that's very, 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 very not common. It's no disrespect, but in this day and age, it's not. She's somebody who, a lot of times, when you're like a attractive girl, a lot of times they don't really got, they're not very, there's not a lot of depth to them in terms of, talking and speaking about certain things and knowledge about certain things. She's, an attractive young woman who has a lot of, like I said, knowledgeable things to talk about. She's somebody that stands for something, encourage people to do the right thing and not the BS. So shout out to River. Definitely, somebody who's a fan of what you're doing. Then next I gotta go Soul Immortal. Been a guy that I've been watching for the better half, probably the past 3 years. Soul, learned a lot from Soul. He's taught me a lot. I've spoke to him. He has this kind of group called the Power Circle that I was part of for a little bit. I plan to at some point try to get, be back into the group. Had to, step away for a little bit for certain things, personal reasons. But I definitely plan to be back into his Power Circle group. But just the knowledge that he has to share, to manifest and how to move as a man in this world, being as a man, knowing that you should know who you are, what you're capable of, and where you're going in your life. That's very one of the major things that he's taught. I've learned from him. You know what I'm saying? And just many other things that um, I've learned from him. It's always gems in Soul Immortals videos. Always, always, always some gems to learn from. And yeah, definitely recommend checking Soul Immortals content out. Then next, Shannon Sharp. Definitely, he been a fan of him since Baltimore Raven days. Uh, but just seeing what he's done as a content creator with the club Shay Shay, um, and what he's done with with Undisputed, and now he's on First Take. But it's dope. This he's the guy who's always had something informative to say, something thought provoking to say, something knowledgeable to say, and I really appreciate his perspective on a lot of things. Um, he's a guy who always has some quality to say, and just funny. He's a funny guy, uh, and just a guy that I think a lot of guys go to because he's someone you can just kind of just speak to and talk to freely. Why you see Cat Williams who came. Cat Williams even said it himself. Shannon gives a opportunity for the guys to come out there and give their truth, so to speak, and I definitely appreciate that. Then Stephen A. Smith, been a fan of Stephen A. throughout his career. Um, I'm a guy who really appreciates the fact that Stephen A. is a guy who has a strong work ethic, shows up for work, whether it's on First Take, always showing up, and then now he started his own podcast, and every time I click on YouTube, it's another Stephen A. take, it's another and that, like I said, it just shows the work ethic that he has, and I try to um, emulate that in my own life, and even doing this, being a beginner content creator, podcaster, and all that, I try to um, do the same thing uh, with the work ethic. Um, just try my best to put some stuff out, put content out. But Stephen A. has a dope persona, personality. Been a fan of I just a fan of his personality and his energy, and it's in soliloquies that he has. For me, it's definitely uh, dope seeing him uh, do those things to me. Stephen A. Um, and then Shabazz, the OG. He's a guy that I've learned a lot from. A lot of just life lessons. He gives good, real game. He's a guy who gives real game, not the BS. And I am somebody who appreciates that a lot, because there's too many people out here who just give garbage to people and think, okay, hear what you want to hear, and this is how I'm gonna feel. I'm feeling. He gives uh, guys real game. Me being a younger guy, black male, and he's I learned a lot from his takes, and life things that he spills uh, and talks about, and gives genuine good advice, like good advice that um, You know what I'm saying? You need that kind of OG. He really is like an OG for real, for real. And and so he's a guy that I always, when he got some stuff, I always listen to because I know it's gonna be some gems to learn from. And then lastly, my guy Bedros Koulian. He's a guy that uh, you know, tough guy. You know, he's into um, fitness. He's into fitness, and he puts in the work. Talks about putting the work. You know, being you know a guy who's just not lazy, especially as a man. You know, you got to go out there and put in the work. And I definitely agree with him on that. You got to be a hard worker and somebody who at the same time is caring and loving and all of that type of stuff. Having that like mix of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? Being able to, go out there, kick ass, and when you get out, get out in the world, and then come home and be kind of like the loving and caring kind of guy. So it's many other things that I've learned from Bedros and stuff like that. So these are just lists of the guys that I, on an everyday basis, to me, I learn from and I gravitate to, and I get some gems from. My basketball journey. So for people out there, basketball has probably been something that's at the center of my life for the most part throughout my life. It's been like it's been ups, downs when it comes, to basketball for me. But I've managed to still maintain and be able to love the game. You know what I'm saying? And everything that comes with it. Um, I've had, like I said, ups and downs, adversities, and life lessons that I've learned from the game of basketball that I applied in other, every aspect of my life. And I began playing basketball when I was 5. Just on the street, hooping, kind of thing. Um, First got into organized basketball when I was 8, 9, 9. That was my first organized CYO. Anybody out there that is familiar, CYO League. It was, I went to a Catholic school called St. Ambrose. So that was my first year of organized basketball. And I did my first year of AAU was I want to say I was 2004, so that's 20 years. That's 11. So yeah, I was 11. That was my first year at AAU. We played nationals in Kentucky. Yeah, it was 11 and under, nationals in Kentucky. I really, played well. The team wasn't all that great, but I as an individual, played well. Um, Very, very dope experience. We actually visited Kentucky University, saw the campus. That was cool. Um, and played CYO. Um, no, in retrospect now that I'm older and I know a lot more than I do now. But I didn't play. I stopped playing AAU. Just after that, I played CYO up until eighth grade, and then I went to different camps. Uh, in the summertime, and uh, I went to like we went. I went to Wooten Camp, which is in Frostburg. Uh, that was dope. My team actually won the championship, and I made the All Star team. And yeah, it was dope. It was good, dope time. Just hoop. We was there like it's like a week or something like that. I want to say yeah, it's like a week. And it's like a dormitory. We all stayed there, and we just hoop all day, every day. And that was just heaven for me. You know what I'm saying? For somebody that um, just loves basketball. You know what I'm saying? Just hoop all day, every day. Um, so, so yeah, that was a dope experience. Um, I went to high school. I went to DeMatha Catholic High School. So I played freshman basketball um, on a freshman team. Because at DeMatha, there's three teams. You have the freshman, JV, and varsity. So I uh, I played freshman basketball. Um, Started out like beginning of the year. I played a bit, um, and then for the bulk of the season, I didn't. The coach just didn't play me. I always felt like amongst the bulk of the guys that was on the team, I was amongst the better of the players. But for some odd reason, the coach on the team didn't play me, and so I sat for the bulk of the season um, until there was like pretty much some injuries on the team, and like this this is like yeah, it's like multiple injuries in on of certain players, and so pretty much I had to it's like they had to play me or whatever, and so the first game I played, I scored the season high of the whole team, the whole season. I had like I want to say like 7 or 8 threes or something like that. I didn't like miss like one shot. I think I missed like a free throw the whole that, and that was it for the entire the game. And so I had the best game of all the guys that whole season, and I sat for most of the season. Um, so that, and then the next game I played, played again. I started played really well, and that was like the last game. So that happened. Then so that's didn't play AAU. I think I just was just working on my game, training. There was in my area local courts, Lake Harbor courts for those who know and all that. I know for those who know like that was a court that I used to go to on like dang near every day. Uh, Rain, sleet, snow, freaking 100-degree weather. Like I would be, at the courts working out, working. Nobody was watching, so to speak, or whatever. Um, and so that was pretty much kind of like what I did in the summer. And then uh, sophomore year, played JV. We had a new coach. Um, he was a lot more, we I guess cool with me. He kind of liked me, so to speak. Um, and throughout the season, I started some games, and then for the most part, I was like pretty much in the rotation. I was like a rotational player um, that year for the team. Uh, Again, I thought I was still amongst the better. I mean, I was a rotational player, but still, I thought I was should have been a starter, so to speak, throughout the year. Um, but that wasn't the case. Um, and so that following off season um, was pretty big summer. Um, that was the summer that I did a lot of work with a trainer, very notable trainer in the area. So I know a lot of hoopers know Keith Williams. Trained a lot of the top guys in the area, a lot of NBA players, a lot of overseas players. Um, and just high school, uh, middle school, all of that. You know, he trained a lot of the top tier guys, and I trained with him a lot. He helped with a lot of skill work. Taught me a lot. Um, Definitely somebody I should have definitely. When I look back, I should have kept working out with, and stuff like that. So yeah, he taught me a lot. Um, Felt like I made skill wise, I made a big leaps working with him, and then and again didn't play AAU that summer, um, and then tried out. It's my junior year. Tried out for the varsity basketball team, and had some, worked out with them with the, pretty much the varsity team throughout the summer, and then obviously leading up to the season. Um, had, in my opinion, some good runs. Um, had some times where I you know scored and showed guys that I could be on the team. I had some dominant runs in times in which they allowed me to actually get on the floor and play. Um, I had some runs uh, against some of the even the starters on the team. So pretty much I didn't make the team. You know what I'm saying? Not even pretty much. I didn't make the team uh, that year. Uh, I didn't make the varsity squad. Um, Similar thing where for me, you know, coach, I didn't really think. His thing was he didn't think I was for that year. Uh, he didn't think I was good enough to be on the team. Um, that's what he has said. Um, Despite, in my personal opinion, like I had showed, I could play. And like I said, I did have runs against some of the guys that were start on the team. I didn't scored on them in runs. Like I said, in the times they allowed me to get on the floor, you know what I'm saying? And I did play well, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Of course I made some mistakes. Who doesn't? The starters make mistakes. The star player makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I felt like times in which I did make mistakes, it was like, you get the kind of like, how coaches are, they give you to look like you just did the worst thing in the world. Meanwhile, another guy, one of the projected starters or something like that, does the same thing or worse, and it's just kind of like bypassed or whatever, so to speak. Um, and so it was just kind of like that, kind of like coaching, and I'm gonna get to this at the end of this whole, thing. But so didn't make the team junior year. Then the following year, I thought that, for sure I would have, some, a lot of the, starters left. That one team. So I definitely thought for sure I was gonna be on the team. And so, kept working out. I actually did play AAU um, that summer, um, but I was killing. Like I was definitely by far the best player on that team, and killing, had good games, and then you know that team was the bulk of their players played for one of the schools in our conference. And so, when we went to nationals, which was in Disney, he didn't play me that much. He played his guy, the McNamara guys that was on the team for the most part, and they got kind of like the shine kind of thing. Um, in the time where it kind of, I guess, quote unquote, mattered the most, so to speak. So that whole thing happened, and then uh, I did a camp, and I forgot the name of that joint. In it was like in Pennsylvania, in Scranton. It was I forgot the name of it, but that was all right. And then so senior year happened. I come in playing, and still didn't make the varsity team senior year. Coach didn't he had said I was good enough to be on the team, but pretty much you know going a different direction. You know, wasn't really a good fit. Um, he had mentioned some D2 schools that were kind of interested, D2, D3, JUCO type thing, uh, and but he didn't think that I could play Division 1 uh, basketball, and so yeah, that was that. So that was the end of high school, uh, and so just to quickly reflect on that whole journey, high school, what I'm saying? I definitely think that I had some coaching, you know, not necessarily in situations where, obviously I'm looking back now older, I wasn't in situations that was a good fit. Me and the coach had the coaches had a really good rapport in terms of relationship, and the understanding that that plays a super big factor in how successful you are as a player. You having a good relationship with the coach, you know what I'm saying? And y'all on the same page, they're contributing to your development, your growth. They're putting you in certain situations. I noticed, you know, certain guys, and I didn't, I came, my roots in basketball is from the streets, to be honest, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about just hoop. You come there, play basketball. I mean, politics don't play really a factor like that. Like all this political stuff that you kind of learn later on in your, journey playing basketball. Some people learn it earlier than others. I learned it a lot earlier than most cats. Um, you know, but I was very much so, in my opinion, um, introduced to the politics of this, of things during my time at the Mather, throughout my time. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, freshman year, the coach just kind of wasn't playing me, and I was better than most of the guys, if not the best player on the team. Uh, Same thing, JV, varsity, same thing. And so I really felt like there was some kind of like personal thing where it was like the program and the people, especially the head coach there, didn't really, just wasn't a fan of me on a personal level. For whatever personal reason, I'm not gonna get too into whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but that's just how I felt. Because talent wise, if we just had to just throw the ball up, um, I honestly don't think there was, just my personal opinion. The guys that were at the mat during that time can have their opinion and say whatever, you know what I'm saying? Kudos, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but if you just were to throw the ball out and play basketball with no politics, I was better than just about, I mean, it's probably maybe two or three guys that I would say um, were better than me, and just my personal opinion. And I'm just saying from my whole time at the Master. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. One of them is a dude, and he told me, Victor Oladipo, most of y'all probably know, like, you should have been on the team. He told me, like, after I got cut, he told me, like, I remember in the locker room, we went in the locker room, he's like, yeah, you should be on the team. Um, but Victor, we've seen what he became, and even him, you know what I'm saying, in a lot of ways, he was politicized because he was better than ever. He was the hardest working player I've seen in my life. I never seen anybody work harder than Victor. Like, went hard. But then coach was putting other guys and ahead of him, putting other guys in certain positions, putting guys, what I'm saying, and you know, you know, making it to where certain guys got certain opportunities and looks, and you know he just I'm not gonna get into detail, but I'm just what I'm saying, the gist of it, what I'm saying, certain guys got more looks and more opportunities than other guys, and that was by design. You know what I'm saying? It was made to where, okay, we're gonna give this person the opportunity, we're gonna give this person the reps, and we gonna kind of leave you out, and type of thing. um and like I said, this is what I, what I'm saying, my experience, what I noticed, this is just what happened. So like I said, I was introduced to the politics of this stuff and how things were early in high school. You know what I'm saying? How this political thing is not necessarily just about basketball. It's not about playing the game. That's what I know to do. I don't know. I didn't. All this other political stuff wasn't. So that happened. Um, but like I said, I we can go to the gym for anybody who was during that time who wants to challenge me. It was, oh, he was sorry or he wasn't good, all that, whatever you have to say. We can go to the gym. I'm ready. We can go. We can lace it up, and we can go at it anytime. For anybody who wants to have anything to say, we can go to the gym and we can see, and we can put it on Instagram for anybody out there who I know nowadays everybody wants to put things on video and all that. You don't got it. I'm not that type of person, but we can do that if that's what people want to do. So anybody who's out there that want to challenge me, we can do it. But you know, uh, so yeah, so that was my experience. Uh, and so I went to Michigan State University, which was a school that, in a lot of ways, was like a dream school for me. And I was fortunate enough to get in. And first season, uh, went to the tryout, you know, but and I worked hard that whole summer, still working on my game. Went to the tryout, didn't have my physical. Didn't have my physical, was, ready to go, didn't have my physical, right? But, the coach, Coach Steven, I was able to, work out a little. He allowed me to work out, went through a little workout, and yeah. But, because I didn't have my physical, I wasn't able to play that year. So next season, off season, still worked on my game, still play, worked on my game, did, going to gym, doing my thing. Sophomore year in college, tried out, and, things worked out well. You know what I'm saying? I was able to um, make the team that year at Michigan State men's team. Played with a lot of great players. Was a great, one of my probably top three greatest experience in my life, if not one of the best. But just being a part of a Division I program, especially Michigan State, one of the probably a top 10 basketball program in the country, considering my journey and what I've been through prior to getting to that point, was major. You know what I'm saying? If you knew my journey and wasn't just somebody who was just looking from the outside looking in and didn't really have a real intel of, what I'm saying, my story, my journey, what I'm saying, it was actually pretty big. I know people, and I've heard people, kind of like down talk me or try to find something bad to say about me, or he walked on or stuff like that, to try to like knock what I, what I'm saying, what I did. I'm used to that, what I'm saying, but uh it was pretty major, what I'm saying, like I said, considering uh what I've been through to that point. So it was like I said, a great experience to play with some great players. uh Gary Harris, Denzel Valentine was on the team, Adrian Payne, rest in peace, uh, Keith Applin, uh, probably the best point guard that I ever had to go up against. Um, was a was a dog, you know what I'm saying? Keith was tough. I had to guard him every day in practice. Travis Trice, um, uh, who else was on the team? Darren Nix. It was a lot of um, Brandon Dawson, uh, great player. Yeah, so it was a lot of talent on that team. We ended up, I think, the highest rank at that season we had. We were number 4 at one point. Um, and then uh, went to the tournament. Uh, went to the Sweet 16 uh, in Indianapolis. Unfortunately, we lost to Duke. Uh, Seth Curry had a hell of a game that game. He had like 28. He was balling. He was balling out. So yeah, that happened, and so the fall, season ended, and you know, I pretty much didn't. I had some issues with my grades. My grades slipped. I was again retrospect. I'm a relatively smart guy. I got good grades for the most part all throughout my career. So I thought that I was going to be able to handle the load, the classes that I was taking that year, and my grades slipped big time. Despite, in my personal opinion, I worked hard, my hardest that year, uh, academically, in terms of the work that I was putting in. I had tutors and things, I was putting in work. I was working really hard, and inevitably my grades slipped. Balancing school with the Division I program at Michigan State, it was a hell of a lot. I had You had to compare the load that I had that year. I had the biggest load of anybody on the team. Like considering just what I was juggling with the school, the classes I was taking, with being a part of the MSU program. Like my load was huge. Like it was a lot. Like my schedule was literally filled the whole day. I had no time for to relax. Anything. I was wake up, go to class, go next this class, then tutor, practice, walk through again, film, eat, go to class, do homework, sleep, same thing. Like that was my life that whole year, and so it was a lot, and grades slipped big time, and it was mainly due to a class that it was called Chem Lab, and we had these labs. We had an in-person lab, and then we had to do like this online type of thing, class like lessons. And so, pretty much, long story short, I didn't do enough of the online lessons, and so because I didn't do a certain required amount, I failed. It, I they because I didn't do a certain amount, I zero pointed. They automatically, even though I showed up for all the in-person labs and all of that, I automatically zero point the class. 0 point, like zero. Not even like a D or any, like 0 point, because of that. Literally just because of that. And because of that, my GPA dropped drastically. And so because of that, it and if I'm on the team, it drastically drops the rest of the team GPA. So now, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't be on the team. And so couldn't be on the team. And so I had to work my grades back up for the following, 2 years it took me. And so I finally got back on the team, and I got my grades back up. I got like a 3.8 GPA. And I was like, man, ain't no way that Coach Izzo is going, like, it's no way. I got damn near 4.0 GPA. Like, there's no way he's gonna deny. So I got 3.8, showed it to Coach Izzo, and he was like, okay, got my shot. You know what I'm saying? Uh, got back on started practicing with the team. I think like the second or third practice, boom, injured. Shoulder kept popping out. I thought it was nothing big. I really wasn't used to getting injured, so I was like, what's going on? Shoulder popped out. Next day of practice, shoulder pop out. Next day, shoulder popping out. So then the team doctor was like, checked me out. He was like, wasn't going to be able to make the team, or wasn't going to be able to play because I had a torn labrum. my labrum was torn. And that's a pretty serious injury. For those who don't know, like I just read this morning, Ja Morant actually has a torn labrum, and he's out for the rest of the year. So that just goes to show you the seriousness of it. It's a pretty serious injury, and I couldn't play. That was my final season at college, and I had to. I didn't get any. I didn't get surgery. He team doctor had suggested I get surgery, but I didn't get surgery. I kind of just like sat it out for like 2 years or something like that, and then I finally got an MRI. Doctor checked it out, and I had to do rehab. He said I needed to. He gave me some rehab things I needed to do. He told me it was going to take 6 to 8 months to get fully healed. 6 to 8 months. So this is this is what Ja Moran is going to have to do. Um, and so took 6 to 8 months. I had to do rigorous rehab throughout the week. You know what I'm saying, certain exercise, I had to do that. And within, like you said, that time frame, 6 to 8 months, I was pretty much back to normal. Um, and ever since then, I kind of, um, you know, for those, people who know basketball players are not, we not generally weight room guys. We're not. Like that's our kryptonite. we basketball players do not like the gym, the lifting. Oh, that's not our thing for real. But through that rehab process, I kind of developed that habit of going to the gym, working out, and stuff like that, getting my muscles and body straight. And so ever since then, I've just been in the gym every routinely, making sure that I'm healthy. I'm up to par. I'm body strong, and just so that I don't have to be in that situation again where my body isn't strong and I'm suffer another injury. So just maintain that habit of working out, and you know got back to hooping again, and it was just kind of like a newfound love of basketball again, all over again. Not that the way that I stopped, but just playing the game. I was always watching basketball. Even the times when I was injured and I wasn't playing, I always kept watching. But just playing the game, you just get that you know that remembrance, and love that I from the beginning I had for the game. And you know recently, this past fall, I had I thought that I was in good shape, and tried out for the G League team for the Wizards. um, and you know I didn't know any of the coaches. It was just kind of like a you know just let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? um, and when I went there, no disrespect again, I didn't think that like this was even way worse than the Mac, because it really wasn't any talent for real there. It really wasn't. No disrespect to the guys that was there, and these guys weren't good. Like this was like I had to judge. This was like D3 level talent overall. Like this was D3, D2 level talent. Mind you, like I said, I just came from being at Michigan State. This was like D2, D3 level talent, and was like 60 or 70 guys there, and I played my game. They said they wanted this. They wasn't looking for anybody to come out there and be like a star and really try to play their game and all that. Just kind of like you know run the plays and play defense and just do the basic things, and that's what's gonna make you stand out and all this stuff. So I did everything that they told me that they wanted and all of that, but didn't make the team or whatever. Um, and it was just kind of like I did everything y'all told me to do, and I was literally like everybody, like nobody else was running the plays, nobody was talking on defense. Like it was just like it was just like chickens running with their head cut off playing basketball. Like I was watching the game, like I was watching when I wasn't playing, or the times when I was watching the other guys scrimmage. That's how it looked, and I was just like, "What the hell? Like, how the heck did I? How the hell did I not make this team? Like, I'm like again, no disrespect, but like I said, this is not even nowhere near the math. The math talent is way better than the talent that way better, way better. Um, but this I was like, what, how? You know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is. I just looked at it as it's just, another part of the journey. Part of the process, a test of my commitment to the game, whether am I going to keep playing the game or not? Am I going to allow this to stop me from, playing the game or looking at, what I'm saying? And it hasn't. Still playing, still hooping, still working out, you know what I'm saying? And if an opportunity presents itself for me to hoop, what I'm saying, on a team that I think would be, a good opportunity, I'll play. I'll play. You know what I'm saying? I'm still ready. I think that my personal opinion, people can think otherwise. I think I could play in the NBA. I think I could. I think I could play now. I think I can contribute. I think I could do something. You know what I'm saying? Right now. So you know, again, just this is where I'm at. This is my journey at this point, and I'm still walking my journey. I'm still hooping. I'm still playing basketball. And again, this is just to show, you know, anybody out there, man, if you really love something, you know, don't let anything stop you. Don't quit. Keep doing what you love to do, despite what uh, anybody outside has to say, because it's going to be naysayers for whatever reason, and people who whatever political thing they don't like you, or they whatever it is. Like, just keep doing what you love to do, man. Something you love to do it. Always remember your why. You know what I'm saying? Why you even began to do whatever it is you do. Play basketball, play football, play baseball, sing, play the piano, whatever, paint, draw, be an artist, make beats, make raps, whatever it is that you love to do. Like, don't let the outside opinions and things of that skew you from that. So yeah, man, just wanted to just share with y'all my story up until this point. Um, NBA talent versus overseas talent. Um, this is what I concluded. When it comes to the NBA, this is in my opinion, has the by far the highest talent of any league out there, by far. Um, not even let's say by far, but it's the most talented league in the world. Period. Um, it is the most valuable brand. People gotta remember the NBA is a brand and it's a business. So it's not necessarily all about who's the best and who's the talent and who's good. If you do, there's still politics. It's politics. I explained to y'all in the last video the politics I experienced on the high school level. Um, it's politics on the NBA level too. Um, but what I will say is when it comes to, I would say there's about 450 NBA players. The top 150 to 200 guys in the league are the best players in the world. Those are the best players in the world. Like, you're not going to go somewhere else and find better players than the top 150 to 200 guys in the NBA. Those are the best. Now, the rest of them, I'm not going to be like some cats who say, oh, they're sorry, they can't play, and they're not good, and all that stuff. I'm not going to say all that. But they're not, they're interchangeable guys. Like, it's overseas guys that could very much so be in those positions easily, easily, like easily. Okay. It doesn't make it that these guys can't play. They can play. They're good. They were the guy in college and high school and all of that. Little league, whatever, AAU, all of that. It was the marquee talent or whatever. But they at this level are interchangeable guys. Like, you can go get somebody overseas, plug him in, take this guy, and you Gucci. It ain't gonna be some drop off. Now, like I said, the top 150 guys, you know what I'm saying? You take Luca out, there's nobody who is overseas that can just replace Luca. There's nobody overseas that can just replace LeBron. There's nobody overseas who's just gonna replace Jason Tatum. Like, this is not gonna happen. You know, the talent, is and so that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? NBA, you have the NBA, the organizations build their team around, let's say, two or three guys. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of the guys are just pieces to complement these two or three guys on the team. Whether you're a defender, you're a rebounder, you're a facilitator, you're a shooter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have certain pieces on the team to complement the two or three guys that the team is centered around, so to speak. Um, Overseas, these guys are like, it's great talent. You know what I'm saying? Great talent, guys that could easily be NBA guys, but for whatever reason, whether it's politics or maybe they just don't want to play in the NBA and they're getting better money overseas, and it's like, hey, I'd rather take this overseas bag. Um, you know what I'm saying? That's their situation. um, um, some people just love they got accustomed. They love the overseas thing. Um, but the talent is talented. You know what I'm saying? It's guys who can play. It's guys who, you know what I'm saying, if there's an open run, could give NBA guys buckets. Even some of the top tier guys. You know what I'm saying? They can give them buckets. You know what I'm saying? No problem. You know what I'm saying? And so, uh, the overseas talent is good. You know what I'm saying? The style of play is different. The game's played a bit differently. Um, uh, and so, in the way that, I think it's more. kind of like a, pass and cut type of thing, and more just kind of like set driven, where NBA is, with the way that especially today's league is more of a kind of like one-on-one pick and roll league for the most part. That's the NBA. You know what I'm saying? That's how the NBA is played for the most part. So I just really wanted to get that distinction between the two, whether it's the NBA or or overseas. Um, uh, um, and the talent level. And again, there's politics on the NBA on the NBA scale. Certain guys, you have connections and relationships. You know this person, you know that person. Okay, we give you a look, we give you a tryout. You know what I'm saying? Saying, politics there too. If you're, the known guy, like I said, like I went to that G League tryout and I didn't, no politics, I didn't have any connects and people that could, hey, young Bella, we gonna look out for you. I just came there and just played, you know what I'm saying? Um, and so, again, there's a lot of guys who are in the NBA off that political connection. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we gonna look out for you. He's this person's son, and okay, we're gonna, that whole thing. So, um, those guys, and again, these guys can play. Even these people who get the political connections and the political opportunities and stuff, they can play. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, but they're easily replaceable. Easily, no problem. You know what I'm saying? They can maybe do a couple years or a year or two in the league, and you know what I'm saying? That's great though. I'm saying just even one season in the NBA is like that's, but I definitely do that. Like, I would, like, but that's just the fact of the matter. So, um, that's just the reality of the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, we talking about the top tier guys. Talk this, top. Let's say the top 25 guys. These are the best guys in the world by far. It's no, oh, we're gonna go to the park and find someone better than the top 25 guys in the league in the NBA. No, these are the best. These are the best guys. So, yeah. Genocide in Cameroon. So, for those who don't know, Cameroon is the country that I'm native from. I was born here in America, proud American. This is what I'm familiar with, but I have been to Cameroon. I do have love for my native country, and I feel like it's something that hasn't gotten any, doesn't get any awareness or recognition or light, however you want to call it, politically in media. But there's been genocide in the country of Cameroon for about the past 7 years, between the Anglophone and Francophone sides. Um, Pretty much the Francophone, the French-speaking side has more of the power, so to speak, because the country of Cameroon is a France colonized country. We use francs as the currency. Um, so, the Francophone side has the um, most of the resources and the weaponry, and the French is, in a lot of ways, funding this Francophone side with the weapons and they have been weaponizing the Anglophone, which is the English-speaking side of Cameroon, over the past 7 years. Um, Many people have died. Many people have lost their lives for just about nothing. For nothing. I'm not going to say just about. For nothing. Um, and it's something that I believe needs more awareness. People need to become aware of the atrocities that's going on in Cameroon. It's a great country. It's a beautiful country. There's great people there. Um, but some of these, like I said, atrocities, people, getting cut up and getting shot to death and all this stuff simply because they're English speaking and stuff like that is something that needs to end, in my opinion. And there needs to be some level of resolution there in terms of the two sides, Anglophone and Francophone. Uh, I personally, just my personal opinion, I think that there just needs to be, like in some other countries, just a divide because it has kind of gotten that bad, so to speak, to the point where there needs to be a division in the country. Maybe have South Cameroon or North Cameroon or East Cameroon, West, whatever, however they want to divide it. Uh, there needs to be some kind of division because I don't think the two sides can coexist together because with the coexisting of the two sides, there's only conflict and killings and vitriol and things of that nature um, that I think needs to be resolved and you know people out there, the media needs, like I said, needs to put more of an awareness of it. They put awareness on Ukraine and I'm not taking away from whatever is going on in Ukraine or Russia and all these other, countries. I'm saying that the media loves to put this heightened awareness of, so the world awareness, but the media, CNN, please spread some awareness about what's going on in Cameroon as well, so people can become aware and there can be some resolution. Obviously, for me, my personal opinion, I believe that these media outlet companies are aware of what's going on, but they just choose not to uh, spread the awareness because maybe it doesn't affect them and it's not important or we don't care and all this other stuff um, type of thing. But for me, obviously, I think that when you having you know uh, stuff like this happening to humanity, we need to spread some awareness about it. And there needs to be some resolutions. uh, Africans in Africa, not just in Cameroon, you know what I'm saying, in other countries, we need to figure out what we can do to help Cameroon and what's going on there. um, I'm all what I'm just doing the best I can with the platform that I have to spread some kind of awareness towards the situation. I haven't heard anybody else, bring any kind of public kind of, media type of, you know, awareness to what's going on. It's just kind of like try to unseen or we're gonna act like it's not happening, and stuff like that. Um, and I don't think that's right. So let's spread some awareness to the country of Cameroon and what's going on there, and let's be able to find a resolution to what's going on. Introducing the Afro. Um, this is, so to speak, futuristic kind of concept, innovative type of thing. Some are gonna be like, I'm the enemy because it's something new, and I think the only people who are gonna have problems with this are like people who are colonizers of Africa and who have control. But I know that this is a great idea, and I think I'm going to share it. Uh, this. So every continent in the world has their own currency of value. U.S. has the U.S. dollar. Canada has the Canadian dollar. South America has pesos. Europe has euros. Asia has yen. What does Africa have? Nothing. We don't have any currency to exchange for value amongst Africans in Africa. Okay, we should have what I call the Afro, which would be a currency that we can use when we want to exchange on the marketplace. So if I want a banana, I go to the market, I want a banana, I give you €5 or whatever, a euro for in exchange for a banana. Okay, that would be our currency that we use to exchange for value amongst, Africans, and anybody else who wants to come to Africa can use this currency to exchange for value, just like every other continent. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't like some weird thing or some foreign, like, I mean, it would be new. And I know people, when it comes to new things, people like to say it's weird, it's different, it's the enemy, whatever garbage that people like to say. But um, this would be very beneficial to Africa and bringing value to the continent and all the countries in Africa if we create this currency called, like I said, the Afro. Now, I'm not the first person who's thought about this, because there have been people prior who have thought about having like a currency in Africa, like a Marcus Garvey and um, is it Haile Selassie? I think he might have mentioned it. Dr. Umar has, I think, might have talked about something like this before. I believe so, something like that. But I just wanted to give my own little, 2 cents, in terms of, this concept called, of currency called the Afro, which could, you know, bring value to Africa. And like I said, the only people who would have a problem with this, in my opinion, would be colonizers, because now they wouldn't have control over, as much control over Africa as they have had and stuff like that. But this would take the leaders in Africa to unionize and to develop this. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I have nothing against Europeans and y'all currencies and what y'all do. If I come to Europe, I'll use the euro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm gonna go to Europe and say we're using the afro now. No, y'all got the euro. I'll use euros when I'm an American. When I'm in America, I use dollars. When I go to Canada, I use the Canadian dollar. When I go to Asia, I'll use yen. No problem. I go to Mexico and South America, I'll use pesos. I go to Africa, I use afros. You feel me? So I think that would be, you know what I'm saying? It'd be beneficial. It'd be, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely giving, you know what I'm saying, some futuristic, innovative kind of concept, which can be applied if people actually want to, um, you know what I'm saying, apply this and make this a reality rather than try to find something wrong with it, which I know people are gonna do. You're gonna, oh well, this is gonna do this. You're gonna find something wrong. You know, the nitpickers and the naysayers. I know y'all are out there, but just think for 1 second about just the overall concept, how this could help, and this could even be beneficial not just to Africa, but even uh, countries outside of Africa. So um, this is just my concept. Anybody out there, I love to discuss this concept. Anybody out there who's thought provoking and listens and wants to hear perspectives. I don't want to speak to people who just are just walls in their mind and just want to be against. Okay, you can have your opinion, all that. So that's just my opinion. Current best rapper. So y'all know I love hip hop. Hip hop is my thing, or one of my things. It's just as dear to me as basketball. In my personal opinion, it really is. So I gotta give y'all update on what I think, who I think is killing the game right now in the hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Uh, in recent time, uh, J. Cole been killing the features. J. Cole been killing the features. He did a couple features with Boz on his album. One of my favorite joints on there is the Paper Cuts joint. You know, did his thing. The Evil Ways joint on Drake's latest album. The was it Scary Hours edition? Uh, for all the dogs, Scary Hours edition, Evil Ways. Cole went crazy. Okay, that's hip hop, guys. People who rhyme. Okay, that's hip hop. People who rhyme words and it makes sense. That's the art of hip hop, not just talking for nothing just because it sounds good or you think it sounds good. But that's hip hop and having, like I said, making sense, having meaning. So J. Cole been just going crazy. Um, then my man Uncle Larry June. Uh, the work ethic he has the best work ethic in the game amongst right now. I think um, always putting out, you know, heat and just a lot of it. Uh, but right now, who I think is really just showing it, showing the guys like, yo, I'm really that dude. It's none other than that boy Aubrey Graham, Drizzy Drake. He's been like, he and y'all know I've been fan. That's y'all know I'm a fan of Drake for the those but this is not nobody. I've been it's been time I've been critical of Drake, just be objective at times. Um, but I'm gonna be objective, you know, straight up. Like he's been the best when it comes to barring up and rapping, not just you know making hit records and cloud chasing, all that whatever stuff y'all like talk about. But um, when it comes to barring up bars, hip hop, rhyming, Drake has been destroying everybody in the game. The the and he really proved that on the scary edition of For All the Dogs. It was about 6 joints on the joint, and he barred up better than everybody. The whole game, just in those 6 songs, his bars was better than everybody's. All of last year, just in 6 songs. Like I haven't heard Drake really bar up. Like, you know what? Because he's been experimenting with different sounds and styles, but these 6 records, he said, you know what? I'm about to just get back to barring up, and your boy was just barring it up. Like my favorite of my favorite song in the Scary Hours Volume 2, the Scary Hours edition, is Wickman. I mean, I thought that was the best song of the year. Like it went. I mean, no disrespect to Sexy Red and the Ski Weed, I think is the name of the song. That was the Rolling Stones song. Yeah, for me it was Wickman because he was just saying some stuff that I'm like, yo, there's nobody right now that's at this dude's level right now. He's just killing it right now. Like he barred up on that joint on Wickman, produced by my my goat, one of my goats, Alchemist. He finally got a Alchemist and Drake collab. That's big time. Um, I want the next one has to be is two. I need to get a collab with you, my dog Drake. We got a collab. You know what I'm saying? I like for those who don't know, I make beats and produce music and stuff like that. So yo, Aubrey, let's get in the lab. And but I really want a Harry Fraud and Drake collab. I want to hear that. I want to hear Fraud and Drake on a joint. That'd be pretty legendary. Um, but yeah, I gotta give it to Drake right now. Right now, he's been the best rapper. Not just on some billboards and political stuff. I'm talking just bars when it comes to the art of this craft of hip hop. Like barring up, let's bar up, and you know what I'm saying. Like let's go back and forth at it. And even on Evil Ways, he had. I mean, the way that him and Cole was flowing, just so what I'm saying, so well on the joint. Um, just going back and forth. All every line made sense and rhymed and was clean. You know what I'm saying? I think, I mean, between the two of them, I don't. It's really hard to say who had the better because they both. I mean, it's damn near like equal. But if I had to say who had the better verse, I'm gonna get a slight edge to my guy Drake. Um, I'm gonna get a slight edge to Drake in terms of his bars on that joint. Um, but Cole, like I said it before, Cole was going nuts on there too. So Cole too, yo, we should all get in the get in the lab and make something, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm always down. I'm in here every day making some beats and music every day. This isn't something that I do because I'm trying to get on and get views and all that. Like, this is real life. You know what I'm saying? For me, you know what I'm saying? This isn't a joke or some sort of, yeah. No, I really do this. So hey, I'm always down. I'm always with it. So yeah, that's who I think currently uh, is the best right now in the game, and I'm going to give y'all more periodic updates of who I think is the best in the game. So yeah. So yeah, that concludes the 30th episode of my podcast, Open Conversations. Hope y'all enjoyed it. See y'all next time.